So today is Memorial Day, and just want to say thank you to the veterans that made this freedom possible. We're out here. This is Fort Pierce Inlet. I am visiting my brother today, but just came out here to walk on the beach for a little bit, take a little break. Hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I'm gonna head to the shop in a little bit. The sun's going down, but if you're ever in this area, awesome beach. Alright, back at the shop now. I wanted to talk a little bit. This is going to be a good talking section. Slow action. It's Memorial Day, so really not much going on. But I just wanted to discuss what we've done and what we're going to be doing with this project. So this off-road thing is going to get a bit of a makeover. It's going to be done jack style, HP Logic style. It's got right now in this configuration that it has at the moment some really aggressive mud tires. These are some ITP like mud slingers. They're the ultimate mud something rather. So I'm going to be putting these to the side. I'm not going to get rid of them yet, but I am going to put them to the side because right now I don't want to do any mudding with this thing. So the biggest concern right now is putting some road going tires on this so that we can actually drive it. So I ordered a set of the Maxxis Liberty ML3s, which are a pretty good hard pack and mixed surface driving tire. So kind of think like Baja style. And most of the terrain around here, once you get off road, is either dirt road like sand or dirt road like crushed coral, which is kind of like a hard pack. So that's what we're going for. I want to be able to ride those trails. There's a big off-road area here called Corbett that I'm going to be using this. I'm going to go through that area. You'll see. We'll make some videos with it. But I intend to make this as streetable as possible. So that's the first number one thing we got to take care of. The next thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to be reflashing the ECU. It has a Siemens ECU from the factory, which is actually the same ECU that they use on a few other cars, but mostly I think Kia used this one. So we're gonna reflash that ECU. It's a Siemens ECU that will give us the ability to just play with a couple of the configurations in there, like RPM rev limiter. I'm gonna move that up a little bit. Right now it's limited to 6,000. I think this thing could rev to 65, maybe a little higher, and that'll give me a little more top end. The tires that I'm putting on it are gonna be bigger too. The stock tires are a 27-inch. We're going up to a 30, and 27. We're going up to a 30, and that's going to give us a sizable increase in gearing. So that's hopefully going to make it cruise a lot better. Been driving it around, and it cruises at about 45 miles per hour, around 4,000 RPM. So it's a little bit on the high side. And once you get up over 50 miles per hour, you're over 5,000 RPM. So it don't need to be up that high. It doesn't need to be strung out like that. So we'll put those bigger wheels on there, bigger tires, I should say, on there, and see how that does. I'm hoping for a moderate to significant change in gearing that's going to allow us to cruise, like I said, 45, 50 miles per hour at like 3,500 RPM. That would be great. So look forward to that. But the extra RPM that we get out of the reflash should give us that top end that we're looking for. Right now, top end's right around 70 miles per hour. I think they advertise a little more than that, but it's not getting it. So with those bigger tires, maybe top end will be closer to 80. And then with an extra 500 RPM on top of that, it'd be closer to 90, so 85 or so. Not that I'll be there a lot, but it's good to have that little extra up top. So that leads us to the next big change that obviously, you know me, so I'm gonna turbocharge it. I've already spec'd out some stuff. I reached out to a couple of companies. I didn't really get much response. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and tackle this on my own. I'm gonna build a turbo kit for it. Might as well. The turbo that I'm going with is a really small T15. It's a GT15 turbo. So it's a very small turbo. Those turbos max out around 180, 200 horsepower, which at the wheel is only going to be about 120 to 150 horsepower. This thing probably, I haven't had it on a dyno yet, obviously, with these tires, but if I put the other tires on it, I might dyno it. This thing is probably going to make 50 horsepower to the wheel. Maybe. We'll see. If it gets to that 50, I'm expecting maybe double that with the turbo. So we get to like 100. If we get to 100 to the wheel, that's pretty big because that's going to be about 125 to 130 horsepower at the flywheel. I'm not expecting to hit that, especially not on pump gas. I'd like to see 100. That's a goal. But even if we get to 85, 90 horsepower to the wheel, I'll be pretty happy with that. That's a 110 to 120 horsepower at the flywheel, so that'd be pretty nice. The goal is to get this thing over 100 horsepower at the flywheel, and like I said, drivability wise, I kind of like the gearing where it's at. I don't want to go too crazy and try to make it go too much faster, because honestly, that first gear is really going to be useful in some tight terrain. I like that crawling first gear, and with the bigger tires, it's probably going to be just right. The way it is right now, I could get out of it and let it cruise on its own. It'll go 2 miles an hour in first gear idling. So with the bigger tires, it'll probably be more like 5 miles an hour, something like that, 6 miles an hour. So that's a good crawling speed. That's a good slow speed for this setup. I'm not going to be going up any rocky terrain or anything like that. We don't have that here, but I do want to be able to maybe pull through some mud if I have to, and also I want to be able to go through some woods style terrain. So that's going to help that whole setup. But the turbo, on the other hand, is going to give me that nice extra power that we need to pull that top end and pull that bigger gearing with those bigger tires. So might do a set of wheels, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to try and fit those 30s on these wheels first and see how it is. It's a staggered set. They're 6-inch wide in the front and 8-inch wide in the rear. So that's going to look kind of beefy, I guess. It's not going to change the overall diameter too much, but the back tire will probably be about a 1/2 inch or so shorter. So because of that extra width. But I don't think it's going to be too noticeable, and I think it's going to look cool too, because it'll still have kind of that fatty, skinny stagger, but not as dramatic as this, because these are 12 inches wide right now. We're going to go to a 10-inch wide tire. And these are 12-inch, those are 8-inch. So we're going to gain a little bit of thickness in the front, and we're going to lose a little bit here in the rear. And I think that would probably get us pretty good looking. So outside of that, I think that's going to do it for now. I'm going to be doing the fueling with a bigger fuel pump. I'm going to see what these injectors can handle. I'm not sure if they can handle that bump of 30 to 40 horsepower, but if they can, great. I'm going to use an FMU to bring up the fuel pretty heavily in the top, and I'm also going to, like I said, reflash the ECU. I don't know how much we can do without a proper map sensor to control that. And that might be a little bit too deep for this little Siemens ECU. I don't want to dig too deep into that. I know it's going to work with the FMU. So I'm only going to run 10 PSI max. I don't think I'm going to run any more than that. I'm going to start with a good 6 PSI as the low point, and we'll see how that does. If it picks up 20 horsepower with that 6 PSI, I'll be pretty happy, and I'll feel that as a big difference on a 100, not even 70 horsepower lightweight machine like this. It weighs 1,500, a little bit 1,550, 1,500 pounds or so. So it's not too heavy. So look forward to that. Outside of that, I don't think I'm going to do too much. It's going to be a pretty simple setup, but you know how it is. Sometimes things change. So we'll see what happens when we get to that point. This little 1.1 is about to have a little bit of pressure put to it, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So stay tuned. Oh, other thing I'm going to do, upgrade the headlights. These are halogen H3s right now. It's got a big light bar, which is really bright, but it's too bright for driving. So I'm going to be changing those bulbs out. We're going to do an LED upgrade on that. So stay tuned for that, and more Volkswagen stuff coming. The Volkswagen is running great. I think it's picking up more power as I drive it. I think it's getting a little bit of a learn going, but it's running awesome. Best daily ever. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Boring, if you listen to the whole thing, good for you. And new tires next. See you soon.